Yo, what's going on, world? This your boy Naji from Cigar Talk, and I'm here at the Boxer Gym, man. Shout out to the Boxer Gym for hosting us. I got a very special guest, man. This is one of the meanest motherfuckers in the sport of boxing, man. I love talking to this guy. I got my man, Mr. David Benavidez.
How you doing, brother?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing good, man. We're preparing for this fight November 22nd. We're like about 5 weeks away, and I'm very excited.
I mean, how do you feel? You know, I think this one is, people saying could be your toughest fight. Like, obviously, Anthony Yarde's a guy that could crack. I interviewed him recently. He's hungry. He's like, you know, this is my big opportunity. Is it the same kind of deal for you, or do you kind of level up or change things?
No, I mean, it's the same thing for me. You know, I knew I was going to be put in this position, like how when we spoke about when we wanted to get the David Morrell fight. You know, I knew that there was these tough opposition out here that we can make these fights happen. And, you know, all these guys are pretty good, but, you know, that doesn't scare me at all. If anything, that makes me more motivated, more hungry. You know, I know Anthony Yarde is going to be coming prepared, and I know he's going to be 100%. So that excites me more, and, you know, I'm looking to go in there and making it a war and winning that fight.
Yeah, Dave, I think it's crazy because you have the ability to box, but you love going to war. Like, you say that often, like, in your thing, like, I'm trying to make it a war. Is that just you like that fighting style, or is it more like that's just what the fans want to see?
That's just the type of fighter I've been my whole life. You know what I mean? That's how I fought since I was a little kid. That's how I fight now, and that's what the fans love to see. You know what I mean? So why are we going to stop now? You know, I know these fighters, you know, they're all of them are pretty good, but like I said, you know, may the best man win. You know, I want to go in there, I want to make it a war, and I want to give the fans what they want to see.
Yeah, for sure. Tell me about the choice of Anthony Yarde, right? Because obviously there was a few different names at one point, you know, post the Morrell fight. I know I actually heard some rumors like Bill Haney was the one who was kind of suggesting to the Saudis and to them, like, y'all should fight each other. How did Anthony become, like, the opponent?
Well, you know, there was a lot of opponents that we were trying to get. You know, there was also, we wanted to get the main guys, you know, like Beterbiev and Bivol.
Yeah.
But those fights weren't made happen, and we were looking at also like Callum Smith and Anthony Yarde. But Anthony Yarde, this was basically the fight that manifested itself. I don't know how it happened, you know, but offers were made, and, you know, this is the only fight that came to fruition, you know. But these are all really good fights, you know, and I know a fight with Anthony Yarde, you know, is probably the most exciting on paper, you know, because he has a lot of skills. You know, he has his back against the wall, and yeah, this is gonna be a great fight. This is gonna be a fan-friendly fight. You know, I can't wait to give the fans what they want to see.
I mean, you mentioned Bivol. I know at one point, I think it was like the WBC had ordered that fight, right? And I saw Turkey at one point was like, I don't know if I'm interested in doing that right now. When you heard that, like, how did you feel about that? Were you kind of like, damn, like?
Yeah, to be honest with you, man, I don't really pay too much attention to stuff like that. The only thing I pay attention on is my training camp and when the fights are being made, because I've been in a position from back then, like Canelo Alvarez, you know what I mean? We were trying to get that fight for years and years, and that fight didn't happen. So, you know, I kind of learned learned how to block everything out, and I just prepare for what's in front of me, you know what I mean? Like I said, I've been making the case that I want to fight the best fighters in the world, the best fighters in the division, and it's kind of hard to make those fights happen. You know, there's a lot of politics that go in behind it, but little by little, one step at a time, I feel like we're getting to the moment where we want to get to, you know, in my career. And, you know, all these fights are starting to manifest itself. And like I said, if we don't get the fights now, we're definitely going to get them in the future. But as we wait for those big fights, you know, this is a great fight to take meanwhile.
So tell me, when did it, I guess, transform mentally for you? Because I know the first time we did an interview, we was in Miami last time at the crib, and back then I feel like you was more adamant, like, man, I need the Canelo. And then it sort of, to me, looked like there was a switch where you were like, you know what, it is what it is. When did that happen for you, the point where you was able to kind of mentally let that go?
The point where that happened is just like, you know, just people asking me over and over again. But like I said, you know, at the end of the day, I'm ready to fight whoever, whenever. You know what I mean? That's like I said, there's a lot of politics that go into this. You know what I mean? And I just had to let it go, because the more I thought about it, the more I'd get frustrated. Because at the end of the day, I was doing everything right. Yeah. To get that title shot or to get those big fights. So I kind of just let it be. And like I said, I just focus about the fights that are in front of me. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, there's always going to be another fight. There's always going to be another fighter here. There's always going to be another fighter there. So we just try to make the best with what we got. And yeah, like I said, there's always going to be another fighter anyway. So if we're not fighting the best guys now, we're definitely going to fight them later.
who do you feel like now is your, the step to stardom, right? Like, obviously, it's supposed to be Canelo. I think he's made it clear that he ain't going to fight you for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? Is there a guy now that you feel like, all right, this is my step to get to that?
I think my step to get to that probably would be Zurdo Ramirez. And then after that fight, Beterbiev or Bivol.
Yeah.
So that's the path that I want to go, that I want to take. You know what I mean? The Zurdo Ramirez is more for the accolades because, it's for 2 belts if I go up to cruiserweight.
Yeah.
And I also know it's going to be a good fight because I've sparred him a lot. I sparred him a lot. So, and then also for my career, for my legacy, that does a lot. Going up, winning 2 belts, and then coming back down and maybe fighting a Beterbiev or Bivol. So that's kind of the path I want to take. But those, Beterbiev or Bivol, that's when I step into stardom right there.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's not an easy task. Those
are hard fights.
Those are 2 monsters as well. But like I
mean,
said, this is Monsters World, the winner take over.
That's for sure. Hold up, but you mentioned to me before, even in our first interview, you sparred Bivol. You said you felt like you heard him. I feel like you got a confidence about you because Bivol is everybody's like, yo, this is one of the best boxers in the world. But you kind of approach it like, I know I'm going to beat this guy.
Well, it's because I do this, bro. You know what I mean? I've done this for a long time, and I never faked anything. When I go in and I said that I put hands on somebody, it's because I really did. If I didn't hurt him like how I did, I wouldn't be saying nothing. You know what I mean? Everybody who's on that gym scene, a lot of people say, oh, yeah, it's sparring, this and that. But, bro, a lot of those people don't know shit. A lot of those people can't go 12 rounds. A lot of those people have never been in the world champions. I've been in with world champions since I was 14 years old. Yeah. So who has the right to tell me that I can't hurt somebody in a real fight when I hurt them in sparring? When these guys can't even hurt nobody maybe in real life, they can't even hurt nobody in a street fight. I'm in there, I'm hurting people. I'm hurting the world champions in sparring. When I was young, when I was 21 years old, 22 years old, I was sparring Triple G, I was sparring Zurdo Ramirez, I was sparring Bivol. I was sparring all them guys, bro. So like, how do I not have the right to say that I could beat somebody in the fight when I've actually put hands on them in sparring?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So a lot of these people that try to discredit me or all the stuff I do, they just don't like me. Everything I say that they're gonna hate on me and to say something stupid. They say, oh, well, sparring this and that. Yeah, bro, but I beat the fuck out of people in sparring, and then I do it in real life too. So man, I know what I'm talking about.
Nah, for sure. I mean, I feel like that the fight to me, obviously you would be Bivol, but Beterbiev, that's a Mexican monster versus a Russian monster. That's 2 guys that I know you've had to visualize that fight, Beterbiev. Yeah. I mean, what you think about that?
That's a crazy fight. You know what I mean? That's the biggest. All these guys, they're big risk. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, what is life if there's no risk? What would life be if everything is just easy and handed to you? This is what makes the sport of boxing so great, that you don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? The only thing that is guaranteed is how hard you work for that training camp and how much you're willing to put in and sacrifice in the ring. Yeah. And that's what makes the sport exciting. You know what I mean? And that's what makes me, because I've showed everybody that I'm willing to leave it all out on the line every single night. Every performance has been better than the last one. So that's what's guaranteed about me. Every time I get in there with the fighter that's good, a better version of me comes out. So that's what I know. That's what I have 100% faith in myself. Yeah. My team has 100% faith in me, and they believe in me, and all my people believe in me. So then I can't let nobody down. And the motivation that would go into those training camps would be beyond belief. So I mean, I'm just waiting for this moment. I know what's going to happen, and I know I will reach greatness. Yeah.
Tell me about fighting in Saudi. I know at one point you kind of made it clear, like, yo, I don't really want to fight over there. I want to fight in my hometown, you know, with my fans. This fight is in Saudi. What, I guess, opens you up to the idea to actually be like, you know what, I'll actually go over there and take that?
Well, shit, the paper was right.
Paper was right, bag was crazy, right?
The bag was right, but also, like, besides that is that I'm a world champion, and there's people around the world that want to see me. You know what I mean? So it's my duty to, when I went to Riyadh for the first time, I was amazed of how much support and how much fans I had out there. So, there's a lot of fans out there that want to see me fight live. You know what I mean? They would never get the chance to come over to see me fight. Yeah. I've catered to my fans here in the United States, and I'm definitely going to come back and fight here, but this is an opportunity of a lifetime for me. You know what I mean? I'm going over there, I'm fighting Riyadh season, fighting Turkey Al Sheikh's card, and I'm going to be fighting for all the people in Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? So, this is a big opportunity for me, and it's a blessing for me, and I'm just excited. Aside for the money, I'm excited to go out there and perform for the people of Saudi Arabia.
No, that's what's up. I mean, Dave, it's Cigar Talk. We like talking about the bag. Tell me, when you first talked to Turkey, right? Like your first conversation with him where y'all were trying to put things together, what was that like? Was it just, you know, he just came in throwing numbers at you? Like, what was the exchange like?
Well, to be honest with you, in this sport, you have to know how to negotiate. You have to have, you know, people that take care of the contract. You know, my father, Jose Benavidez, he's always done that for me since I was 20 years old. You know what I mean? So they're not going to give you, at the beginning, it's not going to be the number you want, but you have to negotiate. If you know your worth, then you're going to get the numbers that you want. And, you know, we're really happy with the numbers we got. And, but it wasn't easy. You know, it was a long negotiation, but, you know, every party was happy with the number that was given to us. And, yeah, I'm just happy that we're able to come together. And, you know, I'm happy that PBC, Al Heyman, Samson Lukowitz, Luis de Cubas, that they're not blocking me from fighting on another network. That's what I'm more happy about.
Yeah.
I'm happy that, you know, we could come to a deal with PBC, Samson Lukowitz, and Riyadh season, that they could come and make a fight together. And, you know, I'm just really happy that, you know, that we're able to do this, because if Al Heyman or PBC didn't want me to fight on here, I wouldn't fight. They wouldn't let me fight on here. You know what I mean? So for Al Heyman and Samson Lukowitz to allow me to give that control and allow me to fight on another network, you know, is just I'm just really grateful for that opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what did he say to you about your career? Like, did y'all have any conversations about beyond this fight, or like, I want to work with you together, or was it just like based on that fight only?
No, yeah, there's a lot of he put out a lot of fights in front of me. You know, there's a lot of stuff they obviously want me to fight more than one time out there. But like I said, we're just taking it one step at a time.
Yeah.
We're gonna get this fight, we're gonna get this victory, and we could definitely fight in Riyadh more. So yeah, we have a whole game plan lined up. You know, there's a lot of future fights that we can make happen, but I'm 100% focused on Anthony Yarde right now.
Nah, for sure. It may be a Hail Mary attempt, because like we said, Canelo's made it clear he don't want to fight you, but Turkey is his guy now, right? Like, Turkey's the one financing. Did you say it to him? Like, is there any way? What we got to do, man?
So what Turkey Al-Ashika told me, he said after Canelo beats Crawford that he wants me to fight Canelo. Yeah, but Crawford came in, fucked everything up.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, I just see it, the way I see it as, if Canelo is boxing, there's always going to be an opportunity right there. You know what I mean? Now, he had all the cards. He fucked that up. He got beat by Crawford. Now I got the cards. I got the WBC light heavyweight championship. You know what I mean? So now, if a fight's gonna be made, you know, he has to come to me. We have to make the fight at 175. I'm not going down to 168.
Yeah.
And, you know, so there's still, you know, there's still a lot of life in that fight right there. I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't happen in the future. You know what I mean? It just makes sense on every side. You know what I mean? It's a big fight. Fight has been cooking up for years. Now I got the light heavyweight title. Maybe Canelo can make a comeback. Maybe he doesn't. You know what I mean? So there's still like a lot of things on the line there. But like I said, never say never. It could happen in the future. But right now, you know, we got a lot of opponents that we got to take out. And then after we do that, maybe that fight could happen.
I mean, obviously, like you said, Crawford kind of spoiled the plans. I know Shiraz was telling me that too. I interviewed Shiraz. He was hoping Canelo, because he wanted that too. But now, just naturally, because Terrence won, there's always like, yo, can we see it? I know you said you ain't never entertained a 68. If there was an opportunity where there was a catch weight, like 71, 72, would you entertain a fight with Terrence Crawford?
To be honest with you, I'm on a different path right now. You know, not to try to take anything away from Crawford. He's a great fighter. He's a legend. He's a legend written in stone now. But my interest is in Bivol, Beterbiev, Zurdo Ramirez. You know, my body's getting. I'm getting into 175. My body's growing into 175. So what I got to do is give myself the best opportunity to be as strong as I can and to win these fights.
Yeah.
So that's just giving you a little way of. I'm trying to show you a way of how I'm thinking right now. So it wouldn't really make sense for me to go down to catch weight. I don't think they'll do a catch weight anyways.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't go down for Crawford. You know, like I said, my my focus is on all these fighters.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've heard you say in another interview that you could go up to heavyweight. David, you really feeling like heavyweight, bro? That's a big jump.
No, I said that if I'd go up to heavyweight, it'd probably be toward the end of my career.
Yeah.
Probably like if I'm like 37, 38, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
I want to take it slow, you know what I mean? I know the higher you go up in weight, you know, the harder these fighters are. And, you know, the heavyweights, some big boys right there, bro.
Sure.
Not only that, I feel like now they're getting more technically sound. They're faster. They're moving angles, you know, so it's a whole different ball game now. But if we could get something, you know, in the future towards the end of my career, you know, I would like to be a reigning defending champion at light heavyweight, then reigning defending champion at cruiserweight, and then after that is done, go up to heavyweight.
There's a guy they saying is the boogeyman at cruiserweight, Ja Upataya. I feel like that could be a good fight too. Obviously, like, you know, he's a lot heavier than you now, but is that something that's possible?
Yeah, that's definitely something in the future. He's a strong fighter. You know, he has a lot of power. But like I said, we're taking it one step at a time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's definitely the boogeyman of that division. You know, but my sights are on Zurdo Ramirez. You know, after this fight, we get Zurdo Ramirez, and then once we clear that, we'll see what happens.
Now, David, you've been known, like, you fight with this mean streak. Like, you're not a nice guy in the ring. Like,
Yeah.
where does that come from? Like, you always been like that? Was it something that activated you to get like that?
I've always fought like that because I've always had a lot to prove. You know, people, like how they doubt me now, imagine back then when I had no victories under my name, I had no titles under my name, people doubted me even more, and people talked a lot of shit about me even more. And that really made me angry, you know, and I've carried that. You know, I still learn to carry that to this day because that's what's made me, me. You know what I mean? I learned to fight like that, and that's always stuck with me, and it was never going to leave me. I'm always going to fight like that because I've been fighting like that since I was 13, 14 years old, and that's what makes me, me.
Yeah.
And I'm never going to forget those feelings, you know what I mean? That's never going to leave me. And but that's like, you know, for me, that was my Super Saiyan moment. That's always what elevated me to the next level. And, you know, that's always how I'm going to fight because that is how I've got my respect.
Was that hard for you, like, you know, you growing up trying to become who you are, but at the time your brother is like, you know what I mean? He's the one that everybody's talking about. Your brother is the guy. Was that hard for you? Like, you know, I'm trying to get my shine too, but everyone was like...
Nah, it was never hard for me. If anything, it gave me more motivation. You know, I always said my brother was the biggest motivation in my life because I wanted to be him, you know, and he's the first one who carried my last name, and he's the one who opened the doors for me. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be in this position. He went out there, he won all the amateur world titles, all the amateur national titles, ringside, golden gloves, silver gloves, all that. So he put me in a position where I didn't have to do any of those national tournaments, that I was just put in the room with great champions, and I was able to learn off of them through sparring sessions. So you take my brother out the equation, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
You know what I mean? So my brother was always a big motivation to me. He's still a motivation to me now. And, you know, I've always loved and respect my brother. I never hated on nobody, you know what I mean? And I've never looked at him like, man, he's getting so much attention, why isn't it on me? I always looked at it like, man, that's my big brother. He's putting on for my last name, and I will eventually have my shot.
Yeah, I love that. What point was it that you started to know, like, all right, I'm different. Like, I'm different now?
When I started to know that is he had to take a break when he got shot, and that kind of put all the pressure on my back. But it wasn't really pressure. It was like, yeah, okay, let's go. I've been working for this for a long time. Now it's my time to shine, and not only shine, but to carry my last name.
Yeah.
You know, so when my brother kind of stepped in the shadows because he was recovering when he got shot, the last name was never forgotten. If anything, the last name was even more respected because they were like, okay, Jose Benavidez was doing this thing, and now his little brother's carrying the torch,
Yeah.
that these boys are serious about what they're doing.
Were you confident at that point that you could step into it, though? Like,
Yeah,
you was like,
yeah. At that time, bro, like I said, I've been sparring world champion since I was 14, 15 years old.
Right.
Everybody's known. Everybody who's seen me in the gym, they knew, but they always hated on me. They're like, oh, he's really good, but it's always like a but with me. You know what I mean? They always, I don't know, it's just something about me that they don't like. You know what I mean? They don't like that I'm a fat dude beating the shit out of people. They don't like that I'm a nice guy, but I still beat the shit out the tough guys. You know what I mean? It's just, I knew that I was meant for this, and I knew that sooner or later I was gonna get my shot and I was gonna become the best, you know, of all time. And even till now, you know, I'm still on that track of making that happen. You know, like I said, when I had my first sparring session with Golovkin said, man, you're gonna be world champion. Kelly Pavlik told me, you're gonna be world champion.
Oh, you sparred Kelly Pavlik
I
too?
sparred him at 15. That was I had just turned 15.
Wow.
And there's a video on YouTube and stuff, but he had told me, and he's actually, Ellie Setback got a video of him right after the sparring session, like, dude, mark my words, this guy's gonna be a world champion. So I didn't really, it's not that I didn't believe in myself, but it was just so far-fetched in my head, but I always did the work, and I always left it all in the ring, and you know, I didn't say I was gonna be world champion myself, the world champion said, in their own words, I was gonna be world champion. So just hearing them say that, it really motivated me. It really gave me a lot of motivation and belief in myself. And I just kept going, and here we are now.
I mean, it seems like to me that your quest to be, like you say this often, like, yo, I want to actually be one of the best of all time. It's not like just getting belts for you or whatever. You're trying to go for that. That's something that you see as like, this is really possible?
Yeah, so now I see that I knew it was possible. I knew I can manifest it. I knew in my heart that if I worked hard enough and I left it all in the ring, that, you know, there was nobody that would be able to mess with me. And that's why there's nobody like me that's calling out for all these big fights and is actually making them happen. You know what I mean? That's how you reach greatness. Bro, this shit is not supposed to be easy.
Yeah.
You mean nothing is like, you know what I mean? That's why what I love to do is shut everybody's fucking mouth up after I beat the guys they say that I can't beat. Right. That's what makes you great. And that's why I keep calling the best fighters out, because I know I have what it takes to take these guys out. It's not an easy road at all. You know what I mean? It's gonna, you know, it's a lot of pain that goes through this, but like I said, one by one, I told you back then what I was gonna do. I told you I was gonna do David Morrell.
You told me that. And at that time, people was hating, saying you were scared of Morrell. I remember that time.
Yeah.
I remember.
So they're always going to say the same thing. They're going to say, I'm scared of Beterbiev, scared of Bivol, scared of Canelo, but I just let them talk, you know, because it feels way better when I shut them dudes up.
Do you ever look at, like, the other great guys and compare yourself to them? Like, all right, if I fought Andre Ward at 68, like, do you ever look at things like that? I think of stuff like that, but I keep that to myself. You know what I mean? I don't want to disrespect. I don't want to be that guy that disrespect. Like, man, yeah, I'll go back in time. I'll beat the shit out of him, beat the shit out of him. Because there's no reason to. Because at the end of the day, it would not even happen. You know what I mean? So what am I disrespecting the person that motivated me for? For clout? I don't do that type of shit. You know what I mean? For me, yeah, I would definitely love to see myself in the ring with, you know, Roy Jones or Andre Ward or these people. But that's just for me, for my head to think. But yeah, man, all these guys, you know, Andre Ward, Roy Jones Jr., Marc Antonio Barrera, Oscar De La Hoya, Prince Nassim Hamed. These were the guys that made me want to be great. I seen their greatness and I said, whoa, I want that for myself. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I would never disrespect those guys. You know, those guys in my head, you know, they're the legends that paved the way for us. Yeah. Now, everyone knows you as the Mexican monster. That's how you fight. What's something, like, I guess the fans don't know about the guy, the man? Like, not the Mexican monster, we see that. What's something that I guess the fans would be surprised to know about you is, like, David Benavidez?
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know, bro. Everything I put out is really what is the only thing here. You know what I mean? Boxing,
like
this is boxing. This is it. I ain't got nothing else. You know, I put all my time and energy into boxing. And when I'm not boxing, you know, I'm being a father to my kids.
Yeah. Tell me about your son, man. I see him getting active in the gym, hitting the pads and stuff. Is that something you would let him fight? Like, you know, he's next up in the the Benavidez name?
The thing about boxing is everybody has to make their own path, and everybody has to. I've thought about this a lot. You know what I mean? Everybody has to go through this hard road that, you know, I might ruin a relationship with my son, you know, and if he's not mature enough to see why I was doing this for him, he might hate me for the rest of his life. So, well, the reason I'm saying that is because boxing, bro, this is not a sport. You have to be turned into a soldier. You have to be put in these moments where you might have to run at 4 in the morning at 5 years old and be crying the whole time and think my dad fucking hates me or this and that. But at the end of the day, we're doing this so nobody else outside the ring or inside the ring could hurt you. You have to be turned into a soldier. You know how much times that me and my dad, we didn't really get along because, he made me into a soldier. It had to take for me to mature myself to look at my dad and say, he made me into a soldier that nobody can mess with me. You know what I mean? But I can't tell you how other people would be. You know what I mean? I would like to say that, my son would be mature enough to see that I'm doing this for his own good. And I'm still trying to navigate this path, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why you see a lot of the boxers' son trainers that they don't really get along, you know what I mean? But I feel like if I do everything right and I show my son that this is for the sport and this is for his own good, that, if I make him into a soldier like this, then nobody would be able to mess with him. Then I feel like, yes, he could be world champion and then he will take on this path, but, you know what I mean? This is a hard, lonely road, bro. It's the hardest sport.
It's the loneliest sport, man.
It's a hard sport. It's a really hard sport. So, I mean, that's why, I try to sit down with my son and I try to tell him, like, you know what I mean? For you to be like this, you have to work hard every day. You have to endure a lot of pain that regular people don't endure, and they can endure. You know what I mean? So I feel like now just programming him and letting him know that, I think that he'll learn, or he'll recognize what it takes to be a world champion. And once he gets through that stage, I feel like there's nothing that'll be able to stop him. Like I said, it's a hard road. It's a lonely road, and he has to put all his time and energy and and sacrifice his emotions to become a champion.
Do you look at a lot of the young guns coming behind you? Like, you was, like you said, you was one of the guys where you like, I'm looking at these other champions when I was younger, like, I want to go get them. And there's guys now who are probably looking at you like that, like a guy like Naji Lopez and those type of guys. Do you like look at those, like the new crop of guys at all? Or really?
Definitely. I think I always like to look at the new boxers. We got a lot of new boxers here that working with us. We got Daniel Blancas, we got Jordan, we got everybody here that's been working with us. And I've kind of stepped into I'm like in a different part of my career where like now I notice that I'm motivating a lot of fighters. That I'm like a lot of the young fighters, from my city, Phoenix, Arizona, they want to be like me, you know what I mean? So it makes me happy that, I could become that type of person to motivate the youth, you know what I mean? But yeah, definitely, we're always looking at the younger breed of boxers, you know what I mean? If there's anything I could do to them to help them be motivated to get to where they want to be, I want to be there helping them. I want to definitely be an OG in this game.
You ever thought about like having your own promotion company?
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely what I'm going to do soon. My contract is almost over and with Samson Lukowicz, and Samson Boxing. So after that's over, I definitely making my own promotion company.
Like for you saying for you, like you'll just
for me,
operate
and then also not only for me, but for me, like to sign, like give back, sign young fighters, put them in a position where they could, they could fight on my undercards and stuff like that. It's building. There's a lot that takes to build up a fighter and get their career done. But that's definitely in the direction I want to go in.
What's the best advice you could give to those guys right now that are watching? Like, yo, I look up to David. I'm trying to, become a world champion. How do I get there?
The best advice I could give a young fighter right now is put God in your life. Because if you put God in your life and you pray for your passage, you pray for him to give you knowledge, for him to give you blessings, giving you strength, giving you conditioning, asking him to allow you to access the best of your abilities, you will get blessed. It took me a long time to learn that if you pray every single day, you get power off of those prayers. And not only do you get power, but you could also co-create with God. And God will bless you. That, in my opinion, makes me extremely strong today. I know a lot of people have different beliefs in God, or some people don't believe in God, but I was like that too back then, But now I feel like I have God in my life, and I feel like nobody could stop me. Aside from that, put all your time and energy into boxing. I feel like now there are so much things that could distract us from boxing. There's Instagram, there's TikTok, there's all types of shit. There's YouTube, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All that stuff. If you think about it, if you're just scrolling on Instagram, scrolling on social media, sometimes it takes 2 or 3 hours out of your day.
For
just
real.
For
when
no
you look
reason.
at the screen time, it's
For
like,
nothing.
Yeah.
So like, let's say instead of you doing that, you put an hour into just watching different boxers. In that hour, you will learn more knowledge than you do just fucking scrolling on your phone. At the end of the day, what's gonna help you more if you're a boxer? Being on TikTok or Instagram, or actually watching different techniques, different defense, different ways of throwing punches, different combinations, you know, because at the end of the day, when you get in the ring and you get put in those tough situations, your brain is scrambling to look for the best option in either it's combinations, defense, or offense. So it's not only about the physical, it's about the mental as well. And also running is a big part of, you know, my success too. You know, that stamina comes from the running. So this young fighters, you got to run 3 times a week, at least 3 miles. Also, recovery is a big aspect, you know, of getting better as well. Recovery, basically, put all your time in boxing. Say fuck everything. If you really want to become world champion, put all your time and energy into boxing, because there's so much people who want to become world champions, and some people are training harder than you. And the people who put in the overtime are the ones that make it to the top.
Yeah. Tell me, do the accolades mean stuff to you? Like, you was on the Ring magazine cover this month. I was actually trying to find the issue in the store so you could sign it, but I couldn't get it. They didn't have the new one. But do those things matter to you? Like, when you see that and like, damn, I'm on the cover of Ring?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a big part in my life. It's like I'm walking into another chapter. I put all the groundwork in, so now I'm starting to get recognized. I'm on the cover of Ring magazine. You know, I got multiple titles at my house. You know, there's big fights in the horizon for me. There's this, there's that. People are motivated by me. People support me. People this, people that. It's just like, I'm very happy with this, you know what I mean? Because I've worked so hard to get to this moment. So definitely the accolades is definitely what makes it so fun. You know what I mean? You imagine you've been working, I've been training 25 years. And now it's my first cover of the Ring magazine. I got all these belts. So definitely that just lets you know that you're on the right path of becoming whatever I want to become. And for that I'm trying to reach greatness, so I'm definitely on the right track to do that.
All right, is it hard doing that when now, like, David, you got some money now. I see the jewelry, you know what I'm saying? You with Turkey. You know, Marvin Hagler has the great quote, like, it's hard to get up and train when you sleep on silk sheets. Do you find is that something tough for you, where you can look at your bank account and be like, you know what, I don't really have to get up today?
To be honest with you, I got rid of that mindset a long time ago, because since I've been 20 years old, I've been making $500,000. My first big check was $500,000 at 20. 21 was $1 million. 22 was $1 million.
At 21?
I've been making money for a long time. So I've been grateful enough. I mean, I've been blessed enough to make big money and realize that the money's not really what matters. You know what I mean? I've always said to myself, what matters to me is becoming great and winning these world titles. You know what I mean? The money really ain't shit to me, but I'm gonna get the most money out there for myself.
You know, all the rich people say that, David.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, the money don't matter.
It don't matter, but I'm gonna get it. You know what I mean? But I've never been the type of person they're like, oh fuck, I'm making $1 million, so now I'm happy. I'm not. Obviously, I'm happy with the money, but I'm not solely just looking for money. I'm looking for greatness. I'm looking for world titles. I want the respect from the people. What I've done now that's helped me a lot is I've learned to invest my money better, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I've spent, since from 20 years old to 26, 25, I spent all my money.
Oh, for real? Like millions? You blew millions?
I spent millions on, you know what I mean? I bought a lot of like assets and stuff, but I barely started to learn how to invest, you know what I mean? I invested, now I got my food truck. You know, I'm investing in different like stocks. I got a financial advisor. I got a whole bunch of shit. Yeah. You know, and then also I've got a good tax, an accountant. Okay. And that's so this has been a lot of stuff that I've learned how to do, you know, over this past 3 years. You know what I mean? When the checks really started getting bigger. So it's just that, you know what I mean? I'm just happy with everything, bro. I mean, everything has been a blessing, the good and the bad. I've learned that. I've used that as lessons to get to where I'm at today.
Is that hard as like 21 to have like, all right, I'm 21, 22, I got a couple million. Is that hard to like deal with?
So yeah, that was the hardest part of my life, because that's when I made the most mistakes in my life. So I would say, yeah, when you get from 20 to 23, you know, sometimes your ego gets inflated. You're like, I'm making all this money. What always saved me is that my love for the sport. If I wouldn't have had the love for the sport, I'd probably be done. You know, I probably would have retired or did some stupid shit. But what kept me in the game was the love for my sport. You know what I mean? Because you're at 20, I think from 20 to 24, I made a lot of mistakes, and you know, I got into drugs and all that shit, alcohol. But that's where it's hard, because you're still immature as fuck.
Yeah, for sure.
You're still a little kid.
And you got access to
And you got access to million, you know, a lot of money, you know, people want to be around you. So, but like I said, if I wouldn't have went through that, I wouldn't have been the person I am today. So for you, everybody's path is different. You know, everybody has to, I'm not gonna say everybody has to go through hard situations like that, but in my case, that's what I had to go through, you know what I mean, to make me the man I am today.
Okay. Lastly, man, what motivates you, like, when you about to get in the fight, right? So, like, all right, let's say you in the dressing room, you about to come out and fight Anthony Yarde. Is it music? Is it your family? Is it, like, is there a motivation factor that you kind of utilize, like, right before your fights?
Prayer is a big part of that, and also just visualization, because we're running through game plans, and you know, in these fights, you know, so everything. So if you want to get a knockout, or you want to get a stoppage, or you want to just beat the shit out the guy, you have to follow the game plan. Everything has to be done perfect. So what I do, you know, I try to visualize every single round. I try to visualize what combinations Anthony Yarde might throw. I try to visualize counter shots. I try to visualize everything. I see it in my head before I get in there, so that way when I get in the ring, it's like that. You know, it happens more fluent, and I know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, that's also another big tip for other fighters. I mean, you gotta visualize this shit. You gotta see it before it happens.
Oh, last question. What do you think today, if the balance between, like, talent versus marketing, right? Like building a boxer star, because there's a lot going on today where, you know, you see Jake Paul and Jake and Tank are having a fight and a lot of things. What's the balance you feel like between talent versus marketing in terms of making a star?
Well, honestly, I feel like now everything is the game is different. It's way different. It's not, it's kind of fucked up, which it only happens here in boxing, that the person with the most talent is not the one who makes the most money, as opposed to the NBA or NFL.
Right.
Like if you put a Kobe, you put a Michael Jordan, the ones with the most talent are making the most money.
You're right.
So here you have to learn to navigate, not only to be a good fighter, but to have that reach and that access to the people, or the people that they want to support you, they want to see you, and they want to support you. So the thing that is sometimes we get left with we have to do a lot of the work ourselves. You know what I mean? Like you have to do meet and greets. You have to, you know, you have to let the people have access to you. And sometimes a lot of the fighters who just want to be the best in the world, they don't know how to do that. They don't know that, okay, if I have a meet and greet, it's probably going to give me 500 more fans.
Right.
It's going to give me 1,000 more fans. I had to go to this city. I have to go to that city. I have to go to this city. Nobody tells us we have to do that, bro. I had to learn that in my own way, you know what I mean? And now I have, you know, fans in every city. I feel like everywhere I go, people know me. Yeah. But on top of doing that, I mean, you see me. I'm like a really humble guy that people love to be around.
We kicked it before.
Yeah. So people love that. And for me being that way, they see me in the ring, and that's what makes me a fan-friendly fighter, that they're like, oh, this is a good, nice, humble guy. He comes and he shows love, but he's a fucking monster in the ring. So it's a whole job, bro. I've been blessed enough to be in this game for so long that, you know, I've moved little by little, but I've been professional 13 years. So, man, I've learned a lot in this 13 years. So,
yeah. Last question. The Ali Act has been something that's been, you know, talked about. They're talking about making revisions to the Ali Act now with the Zuffa boxing thing. What are your thoughts on that? Just the Ali Act, you know, kind of changing.
I think that's bad news already. The Ali Act was there to protect boxers. The Ali Act is there to have full disclosure on stuff that we're supposed to, us as fighters, have full disclosure on. You take that away, bro, the promotion companies, they don't have to tell you shit. They could hide money from you. They could hide pay-per-views. They could hide a whole bunch of shit. So I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
I mean, the Muhammad Ali Act, was here to protect the fighters, and now it seems like promoters, they want to take that away to protect themselves. So I don't like that. I don't like that they're trying to mess with that.
Okay. Well, listen, man, David, I really appreciate your time, bro. I'm looking forward to November 22nd, Saudi Arabia versus Anthony Yarde. When do you leave to go to Saudi?
We actually leave next Thursday.
Oh, next week?
Yeah,
All right.
so, I mean, I'm very excited, man. This is another step and another journey into my career. This is the next chapter. You know what I mean? Like I'm telling you that I've been wanting these big fights, and I feel like in this chapter, we're gonna get these big fights, and I'm excited to show out for my fans, for my family, and all the people that support me, and I will reach greatness.
Well, Dave, every fight you told me was going to happen has happened, so I could only do nothing but believe you at this point, man. I appreciate you. My man, David Benavidez. This is a dope episode of Cigar Talk. We out of here. Blah.